Speaking about the transfiguration, Matthew chapter 17, verse 17. After 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter, James, and John, the brother of James, and led them up to a high mountain by themselves. There he was transfigured before them. His face shone like the sun, and his clothes became as white as the light. Just then there appeared before them Moses and Elijah talking with Jesus. His clothes transformed. His clothes became as white as the light. His face shone like the sun. Now, how would it be any different if he was white and his face shone like the sun? It wouldn't be any distinction in it. It wouldn't be a rare thing to see if he was already white, other than his skin would have gotten paler than what it already was. So this already symbolizes and confirms that he was black and he was Negro. He had melanin in his skin, because it would be amazing to see a melanated person's face shine like the sun, and their clothes become dazzling white if they have on yellow or blue or orange or some bright color, and their clothes become white and their face starts to shine like the sun. That would be amazing. Just as in Moses, Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. Then the Lord said, "Put your hand inside your cloak." So Moses put his hand inside his cloak, and when he took it out, the skin was leprous, meaning it had lost its color, it had lost its melanin. It was pale, exactly how black people look when they get burnt. When they get third-degree burns, their skin is white underneath the melanin. And it became as white as snow. So this is also similar to what I just spoke of about the transfiguration. Same transfiguring. The only difference is the light was not on it like the light was on Jesus during the transfiguration. His skin not only was bright and shiny and his clothes became dazzling white, but this is shown on Moses' skin like he turned a whole nother race. And that would not be amazing to witnesses or anybody around him if he was already white. It would only be amazing if he was contrary to that, or opposite of that. If he was melanated, then it would be amazing for his skin to become leprous. Now put it back into your cloak, he said. So Moses put his hand back into his cloak, and when he took it out, it was restored like the rest of his flesh. Now what they leave out, and they probably took out because a lot of things were removed out the Bible, is that his skin returned back to melanin, back to Negro, back to being of color, back to being brown, back to being colored. That's what they didn't put in there. Because in order for them to whitewash the Bible like they have to leave certain terms out. And so, but certain things they left in there, maybe out of fear, maybe out of guilt. So I'm going to go to Revelation. Revelations chapter 2, verse 14. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace. What color is bronze? Bronze is like the equivalent of taking the color brown and making it pop. Like you taking the color brown, but you making it glow. You giving it some shine. Well, it's like it's a metal, like it, like the brown becomes metal, and so it has a shininess to it, but it's still brown. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze, glowing in a furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing waters. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and coming out his mouth was a sharp, double-edged sword. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. That's also referring to the transfiguration. His face was like the sun shining in all its brilliance. I don't know if you've seen the sun shine very brightly, but there are certain days, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, where the sun is very, very bright. It's extremely bright. And I can tell by the blueness of the sky, because when the sun is out at its full capacity, the sky is a deep blue. Even the color of the blue is different. It's like the color of the ocean, maybe out in the island somewhere where the ocean water is very, very blue, almost like a turquoise, bluish green. It's a very beautiful blue. That's how I know the sun is out at its full capacity. And plus the way it beams and it glows causes things to glow. When the sun is out brightly, I notice that certain objects, I see beams of light. It's almost as if there's a spotlight on it, or I start to see the light that it's made out of, since everything is made of the light. But this all is connected to the transfiguration. And so transfiguration would not be amazing without it happening to melanated people. If it was just happening, that would not be amazing on somebody white. It would only be amazing on somebody black. So all these scriptures confirm that Jesus is Negro, Moses is Negro, and the Father, the Creator and Maker, is Negro. So this is what appeared on my photo going on 3 years ago. I say it's about 2.5 years ago, in 2017, the summer of 2017. I think it was in July. It was either in June or July. And I had took a selfie, and it removed me off the picture totally. And I saw the Lord. When I first looked at the picture, I didn't see it. And as time went on, I saw it because it was turned sideways. So I had to flip the picture to see the image. With some of these images that appear, it's like that. I don't see it right away. It's either at a distance, or it comes out sideways, or it comes out where I have to zoom in on it. The hair on his head was white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like a blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in a furnace. Hair like white wool. Feet like glowing in the furnace. Though it doesn't show his feet, but you can see his skin is melanated. The same description that John in Revelations, when he saw heaven and he saw the vision of Christ, same description. Same description of Christ, white beard. And I found out that this is the solar system. So this is the lines and the alignment of the planets. And there's 400 Earths within these rings of the solar system. And so in the midst is the creator in the mist, and he is melanated. And I saw this when I took a picture of the water in the sunlight. And I had a glass of water in the sunlight, and I had a plastic cup of water in the sunlight. I don't know which one he appeared in, because I didn't see this until I came back in and I went back over the pictures, and that's when I saw it. I didn't see it while I was outside. Uh, in some of these pictures, he takes me off the picture and he appears, and in some of them he just appears. And with these, I took it out in the sunlight, and I didn't take a picture of myself. I took a picture of the glass of water, because I was interested in seeing what would appear, since things have appeared without me taking pictures of water. I can just take a picture inside, and I can point it at me and something else will appear, or I can point it at the wall. There's times that I see faces on the wall. There's times that I see angels on the wall, shadows, forms on the wall. I see it on the floor. There's times I see rainbows and rays of light on the wall and on the floor. The transfiguration. And again, how could it be a transfiguration to see somebody with pale skin? It would not stand out. It would only stand out if their skin is melanated. This is proof that they whitewashed scriptures and they changed the Bible to fit the oppressor's perception of slavery and bondage, is to get us to believe that we are nobody and that we're inferior, and to get us to believe they are superior, and also in us thinking that they are God, and thinking that God is white, and thinking that all the people in the Bible are white when they are melanated.